Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. I wanted to touch on a couple of things I've been covering on my channel recently regarding the Hoist or Raise the Colours campaign and also houses of multiple occupancy and the migrant hotel crisis that we've got in the country. And I need to clarify a few things, so wait for that later in the video. The first thing I want to say is there seems to be a bit of a tiz with the Labour Party and the Labour government regarding how to handle this, because the whole two-tier scenario for two-tier Kia is very real. You can see it in the safeguarding. They seem to want to safeguard the criminals who broke into the country on the dinghies over the safeguarding of women and children in local areas. So the safeguarding issue there, why is the migrant safeguarding more important than the safety of the indigenous people that are paid into the system their whole life? That's the first example of the two-tier. Then obviously we have the two-tier justice, where you get ethnic minorities and certain types of predators seem to get lesser sentences than if you say what can be deemed as offensive content online, shall we say. And then finally, you've got the two-tiered approach to the flags, the hoist or the raising of the colours, and that is another two-tier scenario we've got in the United Kingdom. So, if we want an equal society, then all of these things need to be treated the same, with the same treatment either way, irrespective of if you are white or black, if you are from an ethnic minority, or you're a native and you're not of an ethnic minority. All right, it all needs to be treated the same in my view. We'll get on to the meat of the article, and then we'll get to the clarification later in the video as well. So, stay tuned for that. The hoisting of the colours seems to be happening all over the country. It's not just the flagpoles. People are decorating roundabouts and other bits and pieces, and even livestock, like sheep. Now, I don't know where this photo of the sheep came from. It seems genuine, and I think it's quite funny, which is why it's in the thumbnail. I don't know where in England it is, but it's somewhere, so it's quite funny. And let me get on to this one here. Flag Force UK, by the way, they are a welcome addition to the campaign. You may want to check out their website, which I'll link in the comments description, so you may want to check that out. Patriotic students of the University of York have been back out flagging Heslington Village and the university area. This is a new team, and they are doing well. By late September, the whole campus and university will be ready for freshers. And then we have a St. George's Cross and a Union Jack emoji, which is good. That's good to see. Now, discouragingly, we've got the flags, as we've got the, it's been deemed as vandalism and it's been removed from the roundabouts all over the country. Now, Rupert Lowe's Restore Britain have sent information requests to the relevant authorities in order to see how much police and council time / money is being wasted on this. And they're going to keep us updated, which is a welcome joy to behold, which is why I support Restore Britain. And then we get on to this. York City Council confirmed to GB News that they have been pulling down the England Union Jacks put up by locals on a lamppost in a section of the city due to high-profile events, allegedly. Now, in the interest of fairness, I do need to mention this, even though I am a Reform UK voter. Technically true, but it's from an anti-X account and anti-Reform. Reform are removing the graffiti from the roundabout, citing health and safety and whatnot. Let's just see now. There was no issue with the flags and the rest, just that the roundabout painting will cost the council money to fix, and they are actively on side of the flags being put up. So we need to clarify that. And for the sake of balance, I do have to say that Reform UK are actually removing the graffiti on the roundabouts. Comment below if you think they should be supporting that or not, or you think they do have to do that. You let me know on that particular point. Okay, so that's on the councils. I believe that's down in Worcestershire. And then we move on to this particular thing that I'm going to show you now. Okay, the First Labour climbed down regarding the flags, and this is back up in York. Okay, this is because of probably the negative press. The First Labour Council have said they will allow the vast majority of lampposts displaying England flags to remain in place moving forward. So that's a welcome change of policy. And they're only copying what Reform actually announced yesterday or the day before, that Reform UK council areas are going to be doing this. And so what do the Labour councils, what do they want to say? That they're anti-English, that they're anti-British? Well, we know that to be true, but do they have to add? The Labour campaigners and the Labour councillors and MPs are probably thinking, yes, we are anti-English, we are anti-British, but we have to advertise that with a sandwich board on a candle saying, don't vote for us, don't vote for us. They don't agree with this. They don't like the English or the broader British people asserting their dominance over their own homeland. They do not like it. Rest assured, they are against it. However, for the sake of appearances, they're going to go along with it by the looks of it. So that's up in York. Now, you've also got other places like Tower Hamlets and Birmingham. In the particular areas that we're talking about, like in Tower Hamlets down in London, they are removing the flags and they're still removing the flags, and that's probably because they've got a majority population in these areas. And they think that the native population, I don't know why you'd think that the minority people aren't native. That's a bit of a self-report if there ever was one. Why would they have a problem with the English or the British flag? Why would they have a problem with it? I mean, if they've got no problem with the Palestine flag, they should have a problem with that, in my view. Flag Force are satisfied with the resolution up in York, by the way. The City of York Council will only remove 25 flags at the racecourse. While this loss is unfortunate, we welcome that the rest of the city will remain. We invite the council to work with us and place flags formally across York. Alright? So that's up in York. So bear that one in mind. And then we move on to this one. This is down in Tower Hamlets, by the way. As I say, they've got no problem with the Palestine flag. That actually came into use as the official flag of that particular region after the Welsh flag. So the Welsh flag was originated, I think it was in the 1950s. This originated in the 1960s, so it's not even a particularly old flag if there ever was one. So we are winning this, and we are winning the battle to assert ourselves. Now, some clever bugger even said, let's just fill all the potholes with and paint them red and white, and maybe they'll get fixed as well. That's something to think about. Now, my MP, Sarah Pochen from Reform UK, was on TV, and I'm going to play this clip because it was regarding the Asylum Hotels. Early in the week, I stated that my local Asylum Hotel was still active because it remained active after my MP was elected earlier this year. Labour used it as a campaign tool to say, oh, if you're elected, we'll close the hotel. They have actually closed it since. I wasn't aware of this because it's been done without fanfare. And the reason why it's been done without fanfare, as we all know, and the good people in Epping will find out shortly, yes, closing the hotel is a win. It's transferring the problem from one place to another because they're just going to be dispersed into the local area, and they're going to be dispersed in houses of multiple occupancy, which is more of a danger, I would argue, to the local residents because there's no security at all. So I'm going to play this clip from my MP now, and it's important, as I say, for clarification that I was wrong, so I do apologise if I've misled anybody.
Back to the studio now. New research from Stand for Our Sovereignty shows that 90% of councils have gained asylum seekers since Keir Starmer swept into power last July. Now, Crawley tops the list, with the local authority having now to support an extra 972 migrants since the general election last year. In fact, this is only 9 months' worth of data. It's sure to be higher. And that's more than double the number inherited from before Sir Keir. That's amounting to an increase of an incredible 128.4% since he became the Prime Minister. Well, to discuss this, I'm now joined in the studio by GB News political correspondent Catherine Forster, GB News senior political commentator Nigel Nelson, and the Reform UK MP for Runcorn and Helsby, Sarah Pochen. Sarah Pochen, let's start with you. We've seen now, let's start with the Asylum Hotel backlash, the Home Office being spectacularly defeated yesterday. What's your take on where this will go next, and do you expect the government to appeal against this decision?
I absolutely do expect that they will appeal. So I think it's excellent news for today, but I think it's a case of watch this space, and let's hope that when it does go to appeal, that this ruling stands, because it clearly is a definitive ruling if it does fall at appeal, and other local authorities will be able to use this and close their asylum hotels. But the big question then is, of course, where do the occupants of those hotels get dispersed? And I can tell you from my own experience in Runcorn and Helsby, because my asylum hotel has been closed, the Daresbury Hotel, they get dispersed into the community, into HMOs, houses of multiple occupancy.
And so at that point, it's not a problem solved, it's a problem moved.
It's a problem moved, and it's worsened because once in the HMOs, once in the communities, they are lost to the authorities.
On this point, they're lost to the authorities. They are. And what a lot of people don't actually understand about our asylum system, it's all on the honour system for some reason. The criminals, the dinghy divers from France, once they're in the hotels and once they are dispersed into the houses of multiple occupancy, they just need to non-attend twice, and the asylum claim is closed, and they're essentially lost into the country, and we don't know who they are, and we don't know any of their background because they've not gone through the asylum process. They've started the asylum process, but essentially they're lost, and they could be in the legal economy, they could be working in a local car wash, or they could be bar staff, they could be vagrant workers, they could be working for Deliveroo or Just Eat. The reality is we just don't know. The system is broken. I don't want any further asylum seekers. Anybody, in principle, that breaks into the country is automatically rejected, in my view. Anyway, we'll continue with the clip.
They are also disrupting local people's lives. They are they're clearly taking up housing places. So in my constituency, we have between 850 and 900 asylum seekers that we know about taking up housing places. That I should clarify, that's actually in Halton as a whole. Runcorn is part of Halton. I have up to 90, we think, houses of multiple occupancy that they're living in. And so not only is it taking up housing, local people came into my office and tell me they've been moved out of housing to make room for asylum seekers. And then there's the schools, and then there's the GP services. The knock-on effect is enormous.
We've got finite resources in the United Kingdom, not infinite, okay? And if we've got finite resources, you look after your own. It's as simple as. We are in the red as a country, not in the black. I've mentioned this, but it bears remembering. Since the monarchy was restored, okay, this is how far and how long we have been in the red for. Since the monarchy was restored in England before the Acts of Union that created this United Kingdom. Until we are in the black, we need to look after ourselves. We need to get our own house in order. Then, if the British people consent, we can look at the asylum process and we can look at refugees. This is just my view. As always, your mileage may vary. Now, regarding the Labour U-turn in York Council, do you think that they're going to U-turn in other areas? Or do you think this is an isolated incident? Do you agree with Reform UK removing what they deem graffiti off the roundabouts, or do you think they've made the right call? I'm on the fence. I really don't know. I'm in support of the flags. I'm in support of all of that. I really don't know if I'm on the side of the council, the Reform Council, for removing the roundabout graffiti, as they're calling it, or leaving it be. If I was on the council, I would say, okay, officially, we need to remove the graffiti. Well, it can go way down on the list. All right, so you've got all the maintenance and everything to take care of. It can go way down on the bottom. So eventually we'll get to it. Like eventually you'll get a house if you're a native indigenous person in the United Kingdom. But it'll be down on the priority. That would be a win-win because effectively you're officially opposing it, but it's going to be done when the 12th of never, essentially. That's just my view. If I was a politician locally, that would be my position on the matter. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like and subscribe. I appreciate your time as always. You have a good day. I'll be back later on today with another video or two. Thank you for your time.